It is Thursday, April 10th, 2025. My name's Carlos Whitaker, host of the Carlos Whitaker Podcast, and you are tuning in to another episode of our season we're calling Human School. Welcome, and today I'm so excited to introduce to you the guest. This guest is a guest that you have not been waiting to hear from the entire season. Why is that? Well, it's because the guest is me. I'm interviewing myself. I'm not really interviewing myself. And also, I don't want to I don't want to say negative things about myself. Of course you want to hear from me. It's called the Carlos Whitaker Podcast. And today I'm specifically going to be diving into just some of my thoughts and emotions I've not been this raw in this season of Human School. We've heard from, all sorts of people with incredible stories. And this story is really the story of the last week for me. And so if you wouldn't mind, let me just kind of unpack a little bit of my thoughts and emotions on really what does it look like for yourself or myself to pour everything they are into something, to create it, which is all the fun part, right? But then actually have to sell that thing, like sell it to the world. Well, let's get into this, right? Here's the deal. Launching Human School, which, by the way, if you're listening to this podcast on Thursday, April the 10th, just for my podcast listeners, we are going to leave. I'm not going to let anybody else know this, but I'm going to leave the Human School portal open if you want to join. That's the only time I'm going to talk about that. You can hop in if you want. You can go to my website. You can go to my Instagram to find out all the details. But I basically created something that I have poured so much time, energy, and effort into called Human School, right? Like I'm launching it. Like it launches on Monday. And it was one of the scariest things I've ever done as a creator. I know how to write a book, okay? I know how to stand on a stage and give a speech. I know how to create Instagram Reels. I know how to design a t-shirt and sell that. I know how to sell the book. I know how to sell myself on a stage. For some reason, my identity monster comes out when I do something like this Human School piece. And maybe it's because I'm triggered by all the, all the bad, shady ways I've seen things like this roll out. I think I get triggered by that because I've seen them roll out very slimy and very sleazy. And like what I want to let you know, and why this is relatable to you is because I have 300,000 plus Instagram followers that literally are following me on Instagram in some way or another because I keep it real, right? Like I keep it authentic, but selling something, that felt like I was walking a tightrope. So I guess here's why I created it, right? This course is literally designed to help people reclaim 2.5 months a year from mindless screen time. 2.5 months a year from just scrolling. And when I created it, it felt like something that everybody was going to think of course, this is a no-brainer. But the way that people push back against ideas like this, I think, if I dive down deep into it, starts to unlock and starts to maybe unpack some wounds and some triggers from childhood I didn't even know were there. So what I want to do today is just take you behind the scenes on what it's really like to be an online creator navigating this stuff, because it's not all pretty. It's not all confidence. No, there's a lot of deep breaths and breathing exercises before I dive into and let everybody in on what it is that I have been creating. Now, listen, I built Human School because I genuinely believe that we're losing too much of our lives to screens. 2.5 months a year is wild if you think about it. I mean, really, it's wild if you think about it. And that's like 2.5 months a year of you being awake and asleep. If you just switch that over to awake time, now we're talking 5 months a year, right? You're going to have to double that, which is crazy. So I wanted to help people take that time back to live more intentionally. And it's something that I've worked on my entire life. And when I say worked on, I think worked on in a negative way, because it wasn't until 2 years ago that I shifted my screen time, that I shifted to gain back those 2.5 months a year that I was living. And again, many of you have followed me because I'm real about this stuff. I'm real about the failures. I'm real about the successes, the messy days, the wins, the great days. So creating something to sell, it felt like an extension of that, but also like it felt like a huge risk. And the extension is quite simple, right? Like the math makes sense. When I say it out loud to any of you listening, like this math is going to hopefully not land in a very good place for you. If you're 40 years old, and you spend 5 hours a day, just 5 hours, that's what the average American spends, a little bit more than that. But if you're 40 years old and spend 5 hours a day on your phone, by the time you turn 85 years old, you will have spent over a decade of your life scrolling on your screens. That should make you lose your breath, okay? I know it does, right? If you're 50, okay, not 40, you're 50, you'll spend 8 years, almost 8.5 years scrolling at that pace, okay? I just saw a reel today that showed that the average 18-year-old, okay, is scheduled to spend 93% of their free time on screens by the time they die throughout their life. 93%. So like the math is shocking enough to where it's like, oh, okay, like I feel like this is a good idea. But again, what were the worries and the fears that I ran into? Well, I mean, let's dive into the meat of it, right? The first one, they're going to think I'm a sellout. I mean, honestly, like I've spent years building trust with everybody. I mean, that's when I tell nonprofits that I work with, when I tell people, they're like, gosh, like Carlos, how do you get the Instafamilia to give, whatever, $200,000 in 24 hours? It's because I built trust. How do you get the Instafamilia to raise $10,000 in 30 minutes? It's because I built trust. So like I've spent years, my entire platform is built on trust, being authentic, not pushing products left and right. So the minute I said, hey, here's a course, I was terrified that people would roll their eyes. And to be honest, I know people did. Like, oh my gosh, another influencer with a course. I get it. I felt that way when I've seen it happen. Especially it's like, well, are you really an expert? There's all these influencers hawking things that they call themselves experts at because they have gone through something, right? Like I actually saw, this is funny. I saw an online influencer that has, I think they have when they sold this course, they had a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And they were selling a parenting course. And I just remember laughing because I was like, bro, like I get the heart behind it, but you actually have zero idea. Like I'm not going to buy a parenting course from a dad of a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. No, of course not. Why? Because they haven't even like their kids could all still end up in prison. Like no. But here's the deal. When I realized that I was the only person that I know, the only one that I know on planet Earth that spent 7 weeks without looking at a single screen. I went and I lived with monks. I went and I lived with the Amish. Then I lived with my family screen-free for 7 weeks. Then what I did is I implemented those practices for 2 years into my life. And in those 2 years, I saw that I gained back, honestly, 4 hours a day of screen time, which is not even what I'm asking people in this course to do. I'm not asking them to even do that. But when I realized that I had actually gained back over a decade of my life of living if I continue on this path, I thought this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer to help people. But the first fear was that they're going to think I'm a sellout. A second fear is honestly like, what if it's not good enough? Like I've poured everything I am into human school, but there was this voice in my head. What if people buy it and they feel let down? What if it actually doesn't help them reclaim their time? Like the imposter syndrome hit super hard. So, I've showed this course. I've let the modules be run through by people that are not a part of my team. They all love it. They're all like, Carlos, this is literally going to change families' lives. Not only has it been me, but my team has poured so much. Whitney from Wisconsin has poured so much research into this project. It's been painstakingly beautiful to watch come to fruition. So like there is that fear of what if it's not good enough, but then that fear quickly goes away when I take a step back and I look at all of the research, all of the work, all of the time, all of the planning that I put into place to do nothing more than hold somebody's hand as they walk for 4 to 8 weeks through this journey of reclaiming their time, of living their life as opposed to their life living them. So there's a second fear. When I first started my business, it felt like I had to figure it out all on my own. Like every day seemed to introduce a brand new decision that needed an answer. Listen, when you're starting off with something new, it seems like your to-do list gets bigger and bigger and bigger and keeps growing every single day with new tasks, all of these things. But can I tell you something? Finding the right tool, it not only helps you, but it simplifies everything. That can be a game changer. And for millions of businesses, millions, including mine, that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world. Listen, 10% of all e-commerce in the United States of America comes through Shopify. They can help you design your website. They can help you get the word out. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert. They've got world-class expertise in everything. Again, from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns. You don't have to figure it out on your own because Shopify will do it for you. Turn your big business idea into money with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Carlos. Go to shopify.com/Carlos. Shopify.com/Carlos. Did you know that the liver is the second largest organ in your body? It's responsible for over 500 functions. Listen, the liver never gets any respect. I hear about the kidney, I hear about your heart, but you never hear about your liver. If you're looking for a natural way to promote and maintain your liver health, I found you a clinically supported, potent, trust me, it's potent and effective solution, and I can't wait to share it with you. It is called Dose. Dose for Your Liver was formulated to cleanse your liver of unwanted elements, aid in digestion, and maintain your body's filter, which is your liver, okay? It acts as your body's filter, flushing out unwanted elements and breaking down what you consume into essential nutrients. I've got something for you. My wife keeps drinking my Dose without telling me, and by the time I get to it, I'm like, it's gone. It tastes amazing too. I need to let you understand one last thing, okay? Dose's science-backed formula promotes liver function. It aids digestion, eases bloating, and even boosts energy levels if you're in your 50s. You know what that bloating is all about. Save 30% on your first month subscription by going to dosedaily.co/Carlos or entering Carlos at checkout. That's dosedaily.co/Carlos for 30% off your first month subscription. Third fear, the backlash, right? Like online spaces can be absolutely ruthless. Like I pictured the comments in my head. He's just in it for the money. This is a scam. Like, even though I know my intentions are pure, like I was scared of how it would look. So like, if you can imagine, every single email that was written, like I'm like going through it, painstakingly looking to make sure that it doesn't feel sleazy. Every single post that I posted, I'm trying my hardest to be authentic while I'm selling something that I honestly believe can help people's lives get better. It was tough, you know. I mean, I laid awake at night, worried about it. Um, there were things that, my buddy Kyle that helped me run the launch was like, hey, I want you to do this webinar. I'm like, a webinar? Like, who really goes to webinars? Do people really buy on webinars? This is crazy. So like just the word webinar in and of itself felt slimy to me. Like everything, there was such fear of the backlash. Now, the beautiful thing is, sure, I got a few of those comments, but overwhelmingly, although not everybody can afford to do it, overwhelmingly, people were like, Carlos, thank you for doing this. I'm proud of you for doing this, for stepping out and showing us that you can be brave to do something like this. So, yeah, I mean, it's where I landed. It's where I sit. So imagine, right? So the week of the launch, which is right now is the week of launch. When you're listening to this, the launch is officially over. Although I'm letting you guys know that you've got till midnight tonight if you're listening to this on Thursday, April 10th to join. So like what happened was I was actually torn. On one hand, I'd see messages from early registrants saying like, oh my gosh, I already feel a rush. This is going to change the way I use my phone. This is why I did it. But then again, I'd scroll a little bit farther and I'd see somebody make a comment about influencers selling courses and what would happen? Like I would shrink. Isn't it funny, right? I think it was Bono that said once that he played Madison Square Garden and whatever, I don't know how many people fit in there, 20, 30,000 people are in there screaming. He's got all these fans singing his songs. And then he read one comment about somebody that somebody had made online about how horrible it was. And what did he go to bed thinking about that night? The one person out of 30,000. That's just what happens to our brains, right? So like that rush would come and then I'd get crushed. So I guess it felt off to me. I think that's why, like, I've always shared everything for free. So my Instagram's for free, my newsletter's for free, everything's for free. It felt off, but switching to like, here's something I made, and it costs money, felt like I was almost breaking an unspoken rule. Even though I know it's okay to value your work, I don't know, there was just something in me that had a hard time doing it. And again, human school familia, I guess this is the human school saying, and the lesson today is saying, listen, like it's going to be hard sometimes to move past some invisible walls that you've built that are keeping you away from your dreams, right? Like I've got hundreds of people that are joining human school now, right? These people never would have joined had I been chicken and had I not stepped over the threshold of fear into, you know what? I'm just going to do it. Like, so where was that turning point? Well, like what got me through was literally remembering why I started. This really no longer was about me looking good. There was not one single post that I could have made that I feel like made me look good. It was about helping even one person reclaim their life. Listen, this wasn't like a cheap thing. It's $99 for the base, $250 for the next level, $350. I think. Let me see if I can find it while we're talking here. So like the levels, the levels were expensive. Yes, $99, $250, and $350. Like, let me tell you, when I've launched anything else in my life, as I've launched it, it started selling within seconds, right? Especially like if I do a giving blitz and we're giving money to somebody else, like within seconds, I'll see, right? Within seconds, I'll see $10,000 like come through if we're giving it to somebody. Within seconds, if I'm selling my documentary for $15, I'll see 100 sales, right? Because it's like $15. This is expensive. So like the second I turned it on and I let everybody know, can I tell you that it took about 3.5 hours for the first person to enroll. 3.5 hours. Imagine launching something and nobody buys anything for hours and hours. Those 3.5 hours thought, I've made the biggest mistake of your life. I had invested thousands and thousands of my own dollars into Facebook advertising, into the studio that I recorded all the content, into the videographer, into the marketing, into building of the website, into all thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. I won't say how many thousands of dollars. I'd have to keep saying it over and over, but I'd invested so much money into it. And so to have 3.5 hours go by after I launched it with nobody buying it scared the crap out of me. Hopefully there's no little kids that can't hear the word crap. Scared the poop out of me. Maybe they can't even say poop. Scared me, okay? But literally, when I saw the first student enroll, I thought to myself, okay, it's worth it. It's worth it. Y'all know that typical children's vitamins are basically candy in disguise. Y'all remember the cartoon character vitamins you had if you were a Gen X or older millennial back in them 80s and 90s, right? They were filled with 2 teaspoons of sugar, unhealthy chemicals, and other gummy junk that growing kids should never eat. This, friends and family, is why Haya was created. It's a super-powered, chewable vitamin, and it tastes great, and it's perfect for picky eaters. Haya fills in the most common gaps in modern children's diets to provide the full body nourishment our kids need to grow into healthy adults, and with that yummy taste that they love. Every single batch is third-party tested for heavy metals, microbiomes, and all the things that we don't want inside of them. I love that Haya gets shipped straight to your door, so it's another thing that parents don't have to worry about. Now listen, are you also tired of battling with your kids to eat their greens? Well, Haya now has Kids Daily Greens Plus Superfoods. It's a chocolate-flavored greens powder designed specifically for kids. It's got 55 plus whole food ingredients to support brain power, development, and digestion. Your kids are going to love it. We've worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamins. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you gotta go to hayahealth.com/humanhope. This deal is not available on their regular website. Go to hayahealth.com/humanhope and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Okay, human school familia, listen up. I am so excited to be testing my body and my life this year with function. And I can't wait to share with you what's going on actually inside of me. What in the world is function? Function is an all-in-one health platform. Get this, that starts with over 100 advanced lab tests covering my entire body. Okay, all my body and your body too. Your heart, your hormones, liver, kidney, thyroid, autoimmunity, cancer signals, toxins, nutrients, and so much more. I'm pumped about it. Why? Because it's so easy. Literally, I can sign up and set an account. You can sign up and set up an account in less than 5 minutes. Then you schedule the lab tests that you want, and then you will get your personalized results. I'm telling you, these lab tests are legitimately going to shift the way that I take care of my body, because I think one of the most important things we can do is understand our body. It actually gives us ownership of our health, okay? Function Health is about taking control of your health through data instead of doing what I've done my entire 51 years of life, which is guessing what's happening inside of my body, right? And then also, what I love is that the first set of test results, it helps me establish like a baseline for my health. Then I can take that baseline and I can see when I improve, I can see when I go down. It is so helpful. So that's what I love about Function, is that it gives me a baseline and also it gives me ownership of my health. Some of the tests that I'm super pumped about are tests that are gonna help me master my stress, right? So that's like testing our cortisol, DHEAS, measuring those things to evaluate how my body, especially in the season, is responding to stress. All right, so listen, this is what you can do. Function currently has a wait list, but they are offering my audience the chance to skip it. That's right, you can skip the wait list. Head to functionhealth.com/CarlosW or enter code CarlosW when signing up to skip the wait list. That's right, please head to functionhealth.com/CarlosW to skip the wait list. This is going to change that one person's life. And if I have to go in the hole thousands of dollars for this person, it's literally going to give them back a decade. It's like you're a time traveler. It's like you get to live to 80, but then you actually get to live to 90 because the rest of humanity is only living to 70. Does that make sense? Like you're gaining it back. And so when I saw that first person sign up, I knew that was a turning point, and I knew that it's going to be worth it and that it was worth it. So yeah, here's the thing. I know the truth that I can't control what everybody thinks. Like, that's okay. Some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to love it. A lot of people are going to unfollow me, right? Like I had somebody that said, I followed you for 7 years and I've never been more annoyed at your posting about Human School. I'm unfollowing you now. And so I'm like, so 7 years of trust that I built, and I'm selling a course for 1 week and you're going to bounce. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, is what I thought. Now, I didn't say that. I also think to myself, like, is this an airport? Like, or do you have to announce your departure? Like, when people tell me they're unfollowing me, I'm like, I'm not an airport. You don't have to be like, ladies and gentlemen, departing Loswitz Instagram, Terminal 6, Gate 7. No, you don't have to tell me, right? Like, and so like that stuff happened. But the beautiful thing, again, is so many people have signed up and so many people are going to be able to go through the content that myself and Whitney have created to legitimately help people get years back of their life. So yeah, launching Human School, it was messy, it was scary, but it was totally worth it. Like, I wanted to share this because honestly, I bet you felt that too. Like, I bet that you felt torn between something you believe in and the fear of what? Of how it's going to land. But if you're wrestling with that, I want to let you know that you're not alone. Like, you're absolutely not alone. So listen, I'd love to know even some of your stories of pushing through. You can DM me on Instagram. Again, I'm not going to be on Instagram a whole lot the next 8 weeks because I'm going to be pouring all my time and energy into Human School. And again, if you're curious about the course, I'd love for you to check it out. It's all about taking your time back and falling back in love with the lost art of being human, wondering, noticing, savoring, all those things. You can go to my website, carloswhitaker.com/human-school. Or we'll put the link in the show notes as well. And again, I'm going to leave it open for you if you want to sign up by midnight tonight. That's just for the podcast listeners. You guys can do that as well. And you know what? We're going to give you a discount code. Okay. Let's call it, we'll just call it Human School. All one word, Human School, 10% off. I'll have Whitney load that in to the course portal. If you made it to the end of this and you heard all of my lamenting about how horrible I felt this last week, the least I can do is offer you a percentage off. So there you guys go. Thank you for listening. And also understand that Human School, the podcast, and Human School, the course, are completely different. We're going to hop back in next week with some more interviews from fascinating humans. And again, a reminder to you, if you wouldn't mind, please, please, please let me know if you know any humans with incredible stories. Again, I'm looking for extraordinary stories from ordinary humans, right? Nobody is actually ordinary. You all have extraordinary stories. If they kind of play along with what we've been talking about the last few months, I would love for you to email me, DM me, whatever it is, let me know. I think there's actually also a form you can fill out down in the show notes as well. Thanks for listening to another episode of Human School, and I'll see you next Thursday, same time, same place.